What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Welcome to Peach Crisp. Today we're going to be reviewing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Volume 3. I'm sorry, I messed that up. But let's get started. Y'all know the criteria.
You understand it.
Let me pull up my numbers. To no surprise, the plot was really good. James Gunn did an incredible job. He loves the characters. It's very clear that, like, if he wasn't the one making this movie, it would have sucked. No offense, other directors, but James Gunn is the one that, like, he deserved this movie. This movie's plot was incredible. The one thing that I, like, noticed, it's kind of like just small, but there was like one scene where Gamora is calling her friend to like come pick her up, and when her friend doesn't answer and some random woman she's never heard before answers, she just gives her the coordinates and says, "Come pick me up." I'm like, why would she do that? Even if she wanted to leave, why would she do that? And it's like she calls one of the villains. Like, that's who picked up the phone. I was like, that was really stupid. That was the only thing I didn't like in the whole movie. So I gave the plot 24 out of 25.
I too plot 24 out of 35 for the same reasons.
24 out of 35, dang.
Did I say 35?
You did.
24 out of 25 for the same reasons on the plot. It was just all the Guardians, trying to save their friend. And when people were saying, like, you can't do that, that's suicide, and it's like, it's either that or our friend's dead. And I'm like, you see how much the characters care about each other, so very touching. I loved all the characters, all of them. And the characters you're supposed to hate, you hate. The one character I had any type of problem with was Adam Warlock, but by the end of the movie I loved Adam Warlock and thought they made a good creative decision with Adam Warlock. So 15 out of 15 for the characters.
I pretty much fully agree with you. I also didn't care for Adam Warlock at the beginning of the movie, so Adam definitely got better by the end of the movie, so I liked him by the end, but I really didn't like him at the beginning. I also didn't care for his mom that much, but
I hate her, and you're supposed to, so I'm okay with it.
Besides them two, I didn't have any problems with any of the characters. I thought they were all incredible. Even the Guardians that I didn't really care all that much about, which was Nebula and Mantis, I adored them in this movie. They were so incredibly written in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So they were awesome. Every character, for the most part, was incredible. I gave characters a 14 out of 15. This might be one of the easiest enjoyments I've ever given. The movie was like 2.5 hours. It didn't feel 2.5 hours. I was like, I wish this movie would go on for just a couple more hours. I need a few more hours with the Guardians before they're gone forever. But like, it was hilarious. It was emotional. I cried like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
It was heartwarming. It was beautiful. I loved every single second of this movie, besides the one small thing I mentioned earlier. But that was literally like 30 seconds. Just incredible. 25 out of 25.
Yeah, no. I don't see how anyone could sit through that movie unless you're the type of person who just hates space, and there are like some core things that I could see maybe that would take some enjoyment from people. But like, no, if you're a Marvel fan and there was something about this movie you didn't enjoy, then I'd hate to see your Marvel movie rankings, because this movie, the most enjoyable movie I've seen in a very long time. 25 out of 25.
All right, effects.
Okay. As you can see, there's not going to be too many deductions on my list, but this is one of the ones there were. And it wasn't by a lot. The effects looked very good for the most part. It was just like a one or two things that I nitpicked at that, if I haven't been watching movies the amount that I have, like, my entire life, then I wouldn't have even noticed probably. So I just said 4 and 5 because it wasn't perfect effects-wise, but it was incredibly good.
Yeah, I agree with that. There were a few things that just like had the average Marvel effects at this point where they have like too many things going on, so there are some effects that just don't look nearly as good as others, but for the most part the movie did look gorgeous. There was a lot of good effects and very few bad ones. I was really impressed by this one. I was expecting going into this effects be the only part that I take anything off of really, and I was expecting to be worse than it was, but I gave effects a 4 out of 5, which brings us to cinematography. There were a couple standout shots in this one. Like there's a big fight scene at the end of the movie in like a hallway. Beautiful. Where all the characters kind of get to do their own thing. And that was one of the best looking fight scenes, if not the best fight scene in the MCU. Just like it was super good, super well shot, super well choreographed. I really enjoyed that part. But then besides that, there was like a lot of really good shots, but nothing was like so standout or anything that it was like, this is just perfect. There was a lot of just like basic shots. So I couldn't give cinematography a perfect score. I gave it a 4 out of 5.
The hallway scene for one, incredible. That in itself, to me, is enough to make it a perfect score. But so I gave it a perfect score. But every shot, there wasn't a shot that I looked at. It's like, oh, I would use this angle instead, or I would have done this instead. Like everything, in my opinion, was perfectly done, perfectly placed. The scenes in the cages with the animals in particular, man, like Rocket, Floor, Teeps, and Lila, all those are just beautifully shot. Everyone in this movie acted their butt off. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, I've never hated a villain more in my life. That's what a villain should do if they're a true villain. You know, and I'm so tired of seeing almost every villain nowadays. It's like they do something where, oh, I feel sorry for that villain now, or I see where they're coming from. Like with this is one of the few where you're like, oh my gosh, that dude's just evil. Like you want to hurt him. Like, and that's perfect for a villain. That's what you want a villain to be. And his actor, who I forgot the name of, perfectly portrayed it. Like, I have a feeling like there's gonna be little kids who see like the actor like in person and they're gonna be scared. Like,
honestly,
dude,
real.
I would be scared. Like, you know, absolutely flawless acting by him, by the Guardians, by everybody in this movie. 5 out of 5. Or is it 10 out of 10?
It's 5.
5 out of 5. Perfect.
I'm gonna have to fully agree with you.
Okay.
Everybody just was, I don't know, they were just trying their best, and they all did their best, and it was some of the best acting, especially in MCU. Like, it was just incredible overall. I loved the actors, and I want to harp on the High Evolutionary again. He might be the most well-acted villain in the MCU.
Oh, I think he is.
Like, it was crazy how good his actor was. I don't remember his name. I looked it up for Caleb AM the other day, and I couldn't pronounce it, so I'm not going to bother looking it up again to mispronounce it, but maybe we'll put a picture of him or something. I want to watch more stuff with him now.
I do
he
too.
is so good.
So good.
And then one of the things I was nervous about was Karen Gillan as Nebula, because like, as I said earlier, I wasn't the biggest fan of Nebula, and a part of that was like her performance has been like stiff. And I love Karen Gillan, but her performance was pretty stiff.
But it was how she was written originally, because she was kind of like this cold-hearted, like robot girl.
That's true.
So
but it's still, I don't know.
But I get what you're saying.
It just didn't feel as natural with the other Guardians. But she felt like one of the Guardians in this movie, and she is. But like the other ones, she did. So I loved Nebula in this movie. And then obviously Chris Pratt did incredible.
Yeah,
one of the best scenes was, you see it in the trailer, I'm not going to spoil what's happening in the scene, but when he's like screaming no or whatever in the trailer, holy mess, that was incredible. I started bawling my eyes out when my big man Chris Pratt started doing that to me. It was too much, but it was so good. I could harp on every single character in this movie.
They all did.
They all
phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Shout out to the person who played Mantis. She was like in your case, like Nebula. Mantis was that for me. Like, I didn't like Nebula, or not Nebula. I didn't like Mantis originally in Guardians 2. And she was like the character I was worried about coming in. I watched the Christmas special and completely changed my mind on that character. Love that character now, and then even more so after Guardians 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only character that was like a little bit iffy was Adam Warlock at like the very beginning, but he like grew on me.
Yeah, no, he grows on you.
His like acting felt like that's what they were going for. It didn't feel like bad acting. It just felt like this like really weird dude that doesn't know.
He's a baby.
How? Yeah, he's literally like a baby.
Yeah.
So I liked him too. Acting, easy 5 out of 5. Another super easy one. Oh my goodness. I almost cried at the trailers. I knew I was going to cry. I bawled my eyes out several times in this movie. I love every single one of the Guardians so much. And I was expecting to give this one a 9 because of Nebula. But then Nebula really grew on me in this movie. So, like, it's hard to explain how much I love these characters. And this is probably the best MCU trilogy, and it's partially because of its characters.
No, yes, absolutely.
Oh, they're so good. I love them so much. Easy 10 out of 10. I care so much about them.
100% a 10 out of 10. Like, if you don't cry in this movie, I think you're heartless.
I agree.
I mean, how could you not cry in this movie? It was incredible. Even characters that they introduced in this movie I cared about. Like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's one scene in particular that involves these new characters that just made me bawl my eyes out. Like,
yeah. That scene was rough.
It was so rough.
It was rough.
And
in a good way.
Every time Rocket was on the screen, I wanted to cry. Man, it's just, I don't even know how to put it into words, but
I feel you.
I feel like they're a part of my life. Like, this isn't one of those things that I like grew up with, like Spider-Man, for example, or Power Rangers, for example. Like these nerd things that have just been a part of my life since I was like 4. This was, I think I was in 5th grade when the first one came out. 2012. So when it came out, 2012. 2013. So I wasn't in 5th grade.
No, it was 2014.
So I was either in 5th or 6th grade, one of those two. And so it hasn't been like a huge chunk of my life, but the fact that they were able to make me care so much about these characters just shows how great James Gunn is at creating things, you know, because these aren't like normal comic book characters when they first got introduced. That's why everyone was like so scared that the first one was going to suck, because these were characters that some of them existed, but they were like in very different circumstances. And James Gunn just proved he knows how to write and create backstories and characters that
I look forward to the DCU now.
Yeah. Dude, it wasn't the finale I expected to receive, but it was the finale I'm glad I received.
Very much so.
Every character was wrapped up perfectly. I would not have changed a single thing about where the characters ended up, where the characters are in the world of the MCU. The decisions they made wouldn't have changed a thing. The finale was perfect. 10 out of 10. Or is that what it is?
Yeah. I fully agree with you. I don't even know where the finale would start in this movie, but it doesn't really matter, because if the finale was the whole movie, I would still give it the same score. But like, as you said, every character just has their like the best send-off possible for that character.
Absolutely.
Every character's left in a great place. And like, oh man, I don't even know. Like, words can't describe. Like, this was the best finale they could have given the Guardians.
Absolutely.
And like, yeah,
that's it.
That's about it. I gave it a 10.
How stupid Marvel is to have let James Gunn go the first time they tried to, and then now letting him walk. Like, you lost one of the best storytellers in modern cinema.
100%.
Like, maybe the best. Like,
I haven't seen a movie by him that
yeah,
honestly isn't in the 90s.
Like, it's incredible.
He's so good.
He's so good.
But
and
my total was a 96.
my total was a 98.
So
And
an
it's-
average of 97.
And I don't want people to watch this video thinking like we're MCU like mega fan and everything they do is perfect.
That's crap
It is
on the MCU.
incredibly rare for an MCU movie or show to get past the 80s. Honestly,
There's been a lot of in the 80s for me, but the majority are in the 70s.
Yeah.
But like for it to get above 90s, I think there's 3 or 4. No, there's like 5 or 6 MCU movies that might be in the 90s.
there's 3 for me that are in the 90s for sure, and then there's 2 that if I ranked them, they might be. But it's, oh my goodness, this movie was just everything I wanted it to be and more.
For real.
Thank you, James Gunn, for creating this.
Appreciate it, man. It was you're a real one for that. In case y'all were wondering, this is both of our second favorite MCU movies.
Both of our second favorite.
We have the same first favorite too.
Yeah.
Not the same third favorite, but that's okay.
It's-
I love this movie so
movie's
much.
so
Go watch
good.
it right now.
It's so
Get off the
good.
video after liking and commenting and
Go to the
subscribing.
theater
go
and
to the
watch
theater.
this movie.
Watch it. You'll want to watch it again. I want to watch it a few more times. I love this movie.